like to introduce the Trickster. Trickster has many features, and I'll start off by showing the standard one. First of all, let me put the weights on, so when I start the motors, it won't cause any problems. But in mode 0, the plane has its standard elevrons and, of course, its trims. Now, when I go to mode 1, we now add the two motors, which are 1360 kV, turning 7/4 props. Now, the first thing you have to do is obviously trim out the motors. So what I did is I wrote some programs in the mixes. So see, you can adjust each of these using a pot. That was the left, and this is the right. So this way I will be able to trim it out for my initial flight, as well as when you are flying, can adjust for what's going on. Now, if you look, there is no servos for the rudder. What I did is I incorporated a GWS mixer to bring in rudder. Now, you obviously can write a program within the computer so that you can make the rudder variable so that one motor goes either up or goes down. This causes jerkiness in your turns. So by adding a GW mixer for about $11, what happens is one motor goes up, the other goes down, so that gives you the differential thrust for your turns. Now we'll show you what that looks like. Both motors. Okay, here's the rudder going left, right. You can see one slows down, the other is turning. And you can really... Alright, now watch what happens. I have it on the elevator, so it actually will increase the flip rate of this airplane. Alright, give me time here. Let me take off the drill box. Again, I'm putting the weight on so that it doesn't fly away or cause any problems, which things have happened in the past. And if you look in the front, and I switch now to mode 3, I have what most people would just look at and say, this is a canard. But no, what has happened is I have added a second servo. So we have, in essence, a second set of elevrons. So this ought to be very interesting in flying. Now, the other thing that I want to add is people are exploring the canards. Now, with a better radio, what happens is that you can, people like F1, flip the switch and the canards are either up and on or off. But look what happens when I use my trims that I have in each of these. Each side has one. Is I have a trim that can actually go both ways by a slider and be left there. So one of the things in exploring canards is you need to have the canard always parallel to the ground as well as your elevator, and that is your max angle that you're going to get out of it before it starts flipping and flopping. So I have experimented with my aircraft by just using rudder hookup as regular and then just use the slider. So then all I have to do is just move it as I trying to find that max angle. As I pull up on the elevator, I just give down on the slider and I can match it, and I've got my angle with no problem at all. beats better than using a switch of just on and off and guessing. Well, why did I design this airplane? I am going to look at the front canards or elevrons. I don't know what yet, since I'll have to play with this. And I'm going to design a new airplane that I've come up with this Russian, and it's a blended wing body with small ailerons elevator in the rear and canards elevator aileron. I don't know. So I'm going to use this plane to experiment with to see whether the front blended wing body should be either a canard, aileron, or what. I don't know. So I'm going to get my experience. And this ought to be fun too. With all three modes on, this thing should flip, roll, and spin and do everything else under the sun. So what I need now is a couple sets of props. Right now I have one that's a slow flyer, so I don't dare fly that. And it'll be interesting to see how fast this will go. The other interesting thing is this is 1 pound 3 ounces. I may have to add and tack on some more wing area because I have a feeling that this thing is going to really land fast, and I don't know what's going to happen. So we'll give you a video when we get this thing going, sometime probably next week.